This happened last year when I was home alone for the weekend. I was 19 and my parents had gone out of town for a wedding. They trusted me to take care of the house and our dog, and honestly, I was looking forward to the peace and quiet. That Saturday night, I made some popcorn, put on a horror movie, and curled up on the couch. Around 10:30 p.m., right when the movie hit its scariest scene, the doorbell rang. I froze. We don't get visitors that late, and I live in a small neighborhood where everyone knows each other. If someone was coming over, they would have texted. I paused the movie and muted the TV. The dog Max was staring at the door, not barking, just watching. His ears were straight up. I got up and walked to the peephole. No one was there. I turned on the porch light and opened the door a crack. Still nothing. I stepped outside for a second and looked around. It was completely silent. No wind. No cars, just that weird late night stillness. I went back inside and locked the door, telling myself it was probably just a kid messing around. I sat back down on the couch. Not even 5 minutes later, the doorbell rang again. This time Max growled. I ran to the window, carefully peeled back the curtain, and looked outside. There was a man standing on the lawn. He was tall and thin, wearing a dark hoodie with the hood up. I couldn't see his face. But here's the thing, he wasn't at the door. He was standing completely still, just staring at the house. My heart dropped, didn't know what to do. Call the cops, he wasn't doing anything illegal. Yet I figured I'd wait and see if he left. I turned off the lights and crouched near the window, phone in hand. After about 2 minutes, he slowly turned and walked toward the sidewalk. Relieved, I stood up, and then the back door handle jiggled. I screamed. Max barked like crazy and bolted to the kitchen. I followed and grabbed the biggest knife I could find. The back door was locked, but I swear I saw a shadow move past the window. I dropped to the floor, heart pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I called the police, whispering everything. They said a unit was on the way. 10 minutes later, the guy was gone. The police arrived and checked the yard, but didn't find anyone. No footprints, nothing caught on our outdoor cam, just empty darkness. They stayed a few minutes, made sure I was okay, and left. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I checked the footage again, still nothing at the front. But when I rewound the back camera, something chilled me to my bones. At exactly 10:30 p.m., just after the first doorbell ring, a man walked into frame from the side of the yard and stood at the back door for over 10 minutes, completely still. He never moved. He never rang the bell. He just waited. I have no idea what would have happened if I hadn't locked that door. Back when I was in high school, my older sister had already left for college, so I had the upstairs to myself. It was spring break and my parents were out for the night visiting some friends, so I had the whole house to myself. I was lying in bed around 11 p.m., scrolling through TikTok when I noticed this weird noise. At first I thought it was just the AC kicking on its old and rattles sometimes, but then I realized the sound was coming from the vent above my closet. It wasn't the usual whooshing sound of air, it was more like breathing. Heavy labored breathing, like someone trying to be quiet but not doing a great job. I muted my phone and sat up in bed staring at the vent. And I swear to God, for a split second, I saw something move behind the slats. Like a shadow shifting. It was fast, but it was enough to make my skin crawl. I got up slowly and grabbed a chair to get a closer look. The vent is about 8 feet off the ground, right above my closet door. I climbed up and held my phone light to it, but the beam only showed darkness inside. I didn't see anything else move, and the breathing had stopped. Still, I was freaked out enough to go downstairs and lock all the doors and windows. I even texted my dad and told him something felt off. He said I was probably just spooking myself and that he and mom would be home around midnight. So I tried to calm down. I made some tea, put on a show, and sat in the living room with all the lights on. About 30 minutes later, I went back upstairs. Everything seemed fine. I double-checked the vent. Didn't hear anything this time. But that night, as I was drifting off to sleep, I heard something else. The sound of the closet door creaking open, very slowly. I didn't even open my eyes, I just froze. My body went cold, I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. I was sure if I looked, I'd see something standing there. Then I heard a whisper, a low, dry whisper coming from the direction of the closet. It said, "I thought you saw me." I bolted out of bed and ran downstairs. Screaming, I locked myself in the bathroom and called my parents in a full panic. They raced home and checked the whole house. My dad even grabbed a baseball bat and popped off the vent cover in my room. You know what they found? A small access crawl space behind the vent, one that led to the attic, and in the attic, there were food wrappers, a pillow, and a backpack. Inside the backpack were a flashlight, a few pairs of socks, and a kitchen knife. We called the cops immediately. They checked everything, dusted for prints, all that, but they never found the guy. Turns out the previous owners had a teenage son who used to sneak into the attic and spy on the rest of the house. My parents didn't think anything of it, thought it was just some weird phase the kid went through, but someone else had figured it out, and they'd been watching me through the vent for who knows how long. Needless to say, I moved my bedroom downstairs the next day. This happened last March when I was home alone for a weekend. My parents had gone out of town, and I stayed back because I had exams coming up and wanted a quiet house. It was a Saturday night around 10 p.m. I had just finished a long study session and was getting ready to take a shower before bed. We have this old house and my bedroom is at the end of a narrow hallway. The bathroom is right across from it, and there's a full-length mirror on the wall inside. I stepped in, turned on the water, and as I was brushing my teeth, I glanced at the mirror and my heart stopped. There was a man standing behind me. Just a glimpse, but it was clear. A tall man wearing dark clothes, standing just outside the bathroom door. I spun around, nothing. The hallway was empty. I even stepped out, looked around. Every door was closed, the lights were on. And I didn't hear anything. I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me from being so tired. Still, I locked the bathroom door, got in the shower, and tried to shake it off. 5 minutes in, I thought I heard footsteps outside the door. Not loud, just slow creaking floorboards. I paused the water and listened. Silence. Then I heard breathing. Low, raspy breathing, like someone was standing just on the other side of the door. I didn't even dry off. I turned off the water, wrapped a towel around myself, and stood there frozen. I didn't hear anything else. After a minute, I grabbed my phone, unlocked the door fast, and burst out. Again, no one. I went from my room dripping wet, tripping wet, checking every closet, every corner. Nothing. I finally locked myself in my room and pushed my dresser in front of the door. I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the hallway light glowing under my door, just waiting for a shadow to block it. The next morning, I told my parents everything. My dad laughed, said I'd probably scared myself after studying too long. But that afternoon, while cleaning up, my mom called me into the bathroom. She pointed at the mirror. There was a handprint on the inside. Not mine, bigger, smudged, like someone had pressed their whole palm against the glass and dragged it slightly downward. The thing is, that mirror is sealed to the wall. There's no inside to it, and I hadn't touched it. We ended up having the place inspected just in case someone had broken in. But there were no signs of forced entry. And yet, someone was there. I don't know how they got in or how they got out. But ever since that night, I don't trust mirrors anymore.